Welcome back to another exciting session of Metroid Samus Returns.
Yay!
I was just talking with my buddy Olive Branch.
Yes.
That it's almost surprising. Like, we're playing this blind, and the current date is December 12th, 2017, and it's kind of surprising, in a way, that this game is almost already 3 months old. And, like, in today's modern world where everything has to happen now, like, this is old news. This is ancient.
Oh yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah, we're still just chugging our way through it, and we're only 34% done. Although we do only have 9 Metroids left.
I was gonna say, you want to talk about old news? Fucking Night in the Woods, man. Taking a long time to get that. Anyway.
Yeah. It's all getting chugged through. One update at a time.
And speaking of updates, last time we had like a lot of stuff collected.
Yeah, we got a shitload of shit just foisted upon us all of a sudden, and now we are incredibly powerful. And I guess at this point we're kind of directionless. We could try going down here. We could try going over here.
They're both acceptable, honestly.
Alright, which one would you rather?
Let's go to the bottom left one, is the closest.
Right on. Let's see if we can't make our way down there.
I don't think this is the right path through it, though.
No, you're probably right.
Well, I guess given that we have to go all the way around, we have to go maybe... Oh, never mind. That'll do it.
I haven't exactly been counting the days, but it's been a couple weeks since we last played.
A couple of weeks? That much?
I don't know, maybe not that much. Like I said, I haven't really been counting.
But it feels like it.
Yeah, and like we were... Like, even though this area is fairly large and we've been going through all of it, like, it feels like it just went by in such a blur, probably because of the upgrades and the intense rate that we picked them all up.
Well, that, and we weren't really struggling like before to find out where to go. We were just like, let's just keep going this way, and there was no doubt in our mind what way to go, you know?
Yeah, there was no preamble that required us to figure out the lay of the land. We just kind of went for it.
I guess what you'd say it's a success in the game's favor?
I'm still a little concerned over how the balance goes. I mean, I'm a little worried that they've made me too strong too fast. But in terms of exploration, I suppose it is one good way of looking at it, is that, you know, they're throwing a bunch of shit at me. They're guaranteeing that I'm not going to be bored.
Well, is that a gratification problem?
Why would it be a problem at all? I mean, I just said I'm not bored.
No, yeah, but I mean, in other games, like, think about the games like we played. I guess you have to go
all the way back.
Right.
Yeah, this door's locked.
I guess that means we can just go to the right door instead. Like, let's just go that way because it's closer. But you know, considering games like Metroid Prime that took a bit of a slower roll, like, when you got a new item, it was like a momentous thing, and you didn't get another item for quite a while. Like, I think they kind of just rushed it through with these last 4 upgrades, you know? What's in there? Oh, I guess you have to,
yeah, I have to go
move
all the way
the block
back.
again?
Do all this again.
That's a waste of time. I mean, I guess it's just the one time you have to do it because, you know, it's the one item, and then you just keep it permanently in one place. But even so...
Maybe I didn't have the screw attack at the time.
No, you didn't. To get through here, no. Oh, I guess you have to phase drift, and then you have to go to that left, yeah, there, or the right block there. Phase shift, phase drift, whatever it's called.
I think it's phase shift. Okay.
No, I think it's phase drift. Phase shift is a power in
Oh, I see it.
City of Heroes. Yeah, you can't slide through. Ah, go. There it is.
That's kind of a unique puzzle.
Low. Half those frame rates.
This one. Okay, oops. Now how do I get out?
Now how do you get out of here? I think you have to blow up a block on top of you, actually. Like right on top of you. That one.
There you go.
There you go. That's doable. Oh, this is a one-way, dude.
So it is.
Unless you blow it open permanently, when you open it. Oh, I guess it stays open permanently. That's okay. Never mind. Instead, you get some Aeon and have to go all the way around again.
Yeah, it was just the wrong door that I took. Alright, so what's going on with you in your life?
I'm just busy with work. I mean, I'm looking forward to the holidays. It's only a couple weeks to go, and then I'm done. I mean, for a couple weeks' time, anyway. What about you?
Pretty much the same deal. Yeah, let's just take the original plan, go lower.
No, what are you doing? It's right there. No, it's right there, dude.
Well,
come on.
I mean, we'd have to come back here anyway.
Fucking hell.
And we would have to, like, just listen to me. We would have to come through to this point regardless, no matter which decision we made. And if we come here first, then when we loop back around, we would be coming past this area. So we may as well just go down to the lower left. Or at least that's my reasoning.
My reasoning was we were right there.
I mean, that's also a valid reason.
Just get it out of the way now.
That's also a valid reason. But I like my reason better, and I'm holding the controller.
That's true. It's like you're the driver here. I'm just a co-pilot.
God, everything blows up.
Sounds like Metroid to me, honestly.
Yeah, that's actually true. Alright, so now that we're here, do we want to go down or up?
Well, down just seems like it's make the loop around. Let's just go up, get rid of the top, and then drop down again for the elevator.
I'm trying to involve you in the decision process.
Well, you saw what happened with my involvement in the first time around.
What, going to the right?
Yeah, it was like the very first thing you asked me was like, what way should we go? And I said, let's go right. And then,
no, the very first...
Well, they went there.
The very first thing I asked was, do you want to go bottom left or top right? And you said bottom left. I'm only following your instructions.
Oh, we have to... You're very difficult to work with sometimes. Oh god, this is a spiky puzzle.
No, wait, what? Stop that. There we go.
Missiles. They really want to be used. I do like the theme song here,
It's very classic Metroid. I was just thinking that.
Yeah. I guess it's because of the background has like some sort of like underseas feel to it. Like with those big windows back there.
I bet this is...
There's definitely something here to the... something to the right. There's definitely something to the right because you can see the mini-map is like not blocked off yet.
There you go. You're right. You're using your head.
Well, since you're not using your scan, I'm using my head.
See, you're better at this game when you're not given the friggin'... Now, what's the deal with this? You're not given the crutch. If you were playing this game, then you would have just stuck with, what's it called? The scan pulse the entire time. And you wouldn't have had nearly half as much fun as I am having.
So, in other words, restricting yourself is actually the pro move.
Alright, so...
Oh, here we go.
I was promised the Metroid. There we go.
Just in time. I think I'm gonna be unless they like that Metroid counter is lying to you. I think that the Zetas you fought, like they're not gonna get electrified or firefight or anything like that, which is a shame. I think it's kind of funny that how these Gammas actually fuck you up worse than the Zetas now. Because they have many more attacks than the Zetas and they're harder to avoid.
They move kind of clunky.
I would say erratically, but yeah, that works too.
I think
they're very like stop and go, stop and go.
To charge at me.
Nah. By the way, that attack is very piddly looking. Because he just drops this fireball and then the platform doesn't even go into flames. It's just like a little thin layer of fire. And yet somehow we're supposed to believe that takes a whole bar of health off us. It's like that doesn't look at all disastrous. Oh, he was preventing a charge attack there. Or a counter attack.
Oh,
but now he's not.
I forgot the counter move. I tried to I
It's
tried to
one
shoot
button.
the missiles at him. And yes, it is one button. You are correct. I didn't say I was good at the game.
There goes the charge attack. Try using a phase attack on this thing, or a phase drift. See if you can. See if that makes the fight like even more trivial.
Oh fuck! You're supposed to. It's not. He wasn't doing it when I wanted him to. All right, fuck this.
Why doesn't he just do what I want him to? Make the game win easy. There you go. Just a super missile to the face.
I was getting made fun of. He was making fun of me and my ineptitude.
Well, you sure showed him. He's gone. Is there a way to get down there?
You think so?
There's gotta be. Scan it.
Something. Oh, it's just right here.
There's definitely something
Right
to blow up around here.
Yeah, I
No,
know.
it's
It's
still
the other
blinking.
side.
Oh, it's up. Okay. What is? I asked this before. What is the point of these?
I think they're just trying to
platforms?
give us some kind of escape for one of the Gamma's attacks. I don't know which one.
But yeah, which possible attack could he use that would screw us over?
My bad. I don't know.
At this rate, we have the gravity suit, we have the screw attack. That thing should not be saying, "Oh God, we need an escape route to deal with that thing." By the way, below you, there is like an area that you can go underneath here. Like you said, that rock. What was the deal with the rock beneath you? Try scanning here for a second. Interesting. Okay, I don't know what the deal with the rock down there was either. They went to the right. Left, I mean. What's with that? The path is there.
Nothing. Oh, maybe it's to show... No, that can't be right. Maybe... I mean...
Maybe it's a red herring.
There's no reason that should work. Nah.
If the scans don't... Yeah, there's no reason the scans... If the scans are... Unless we have to upgrade the scans, which I said earlier would be a dick move, I don't think that there's anything down there at all. I think that's just a red herring.
Just double back, take another look.
No, it would be making the beeping noise
Yeah.
if there was something to be found here.
That is weird.
Sakamoto's just having fun at us. He's like, I'm gonna make them blow up this rock and wonder what the hell is up behind
that's
there, but there's
entirely
nothing.
possible, but that's very atypical of Metroid. Usually, Metroid is so tightly designed that everything about it is intentional. Like there is no missteps
Yeah.
anywhere in the Metroid series, in any of the games, in any of the mainline games.
Maybe that one room was supposed to have a power-up and they just coded it in and then they were like, no, let's move it over here, and then they just plain forgot to remove that art asset. I mean, like, again, usually, like you said, it's tightly designed, but maybe they just plain old forgot that one.
That still sounds kind of suspect to me, but, you know, it's one of those things where we'll never figure it out, I suppose.
It's a bit like the cheese in Perfect Dark. It's an Easter egg.
Well, okay. The cheese in Perfect Dark was an Easter egg. That was, if anything, that was a mistake. The little divot.
The little slice of cheese.
And besides, the cheese in Perfect Dark was an Easter egg. That one little divot, like in Perfect Dark, they threw the cheese together in every single level.
Not every single one. Not every one.
No,
is
every
visible.
single one.
No, yeah,
Every
but not
single
every one of them is reachable or visible. That's what I'm saying. It's a broken door.
One way. Curious why they would give that to me.
Well, maybe because you were supposed to come from this way, not the other. So maybe phase. This is the one. The crystals are the one thing we don't know what they're for. Try phasing through them.
Nope.
No. Okay. Interesting. All right. So they're worthless for now. There's gotta be maybe a beam power up that you get, like you know, that combines every single one, and then it's just like the Metroid beam or whatever. I liked how that thing was shooting at the fireball.
I'm not so certain that they would throw in... Well, I mean, was gonna say I'm not so certain that they would throw in beam stacking like that, but that's what they've been doing the entire time. And we only have my bad. I have shitty reading comprehension. The only upgrade that we're missing, if we were to look here, is the power bomb.
Which I guess will be the end of all power-ups. Just everything else that doesn't blow up with everything we have is the power bomb's prerogative.
Maybe, or maybe we're supposed to come back. Maybe we're supposed to come back with the baby Metroid.
And oh yeah, that's an interesting theory, that we're gonna have a baby Metroid like as an escort for the entire game rather than just the ending sequence.
Yeah, and
I remember now that yeah.
Just use it to eat through all these crystals.
Because if there are 8 Metroids left, and we have 5 of them already in custody for this level, there's 2 more in this level, there's 6 left in the final run. Maybe the baby Metroid is supposed to be, if you want 100% the game, you have to actually take it back with you and explore everything we've been missing. Would that make sense?
Yeah, that does make sense. I'm just trying to decide if that's. I'm trying to decide if that's a good idea. Yeah.
Probably not. I mean, now that I was wondering what the crystals were, but the moment you mentioned the baby Metroid, I'm like, that makes so much sense. AM2R did the same thing with the baby Metroid. I think in Metroid 2, right? He just ate the crystals in front of you?
Yeah, but the crystals were only a single thing at the on the surface of Brinstar.
At the very end.
Or
at the very end of it. Maybe this game actually has 2 endings, or 2 final bosses. We're supposed to, like, kill all the Metroids, then we get the baby, and then we come back with the baby Metroid because there's still one final thread. And then we basically press gang the Metroid into helping us.
Alright, let's try this again.
Here it comes. There you go. Super missiles to billet. Eat them like they're vitamins. Wow, he just runs straight at you. He just doesn't give a shit.
Yeah. Fighting... What are these? The Gammas. It's pretty boring, honestly. And frustrating. I mean,
it's lost its luster?
It's lost its luster, yeah. Especially since they fucking, like... Ever since they started running. It was just super annoying to fucking deal with them. And now...
But they've stopped running.
Well, they have stopped running. But that doesn't mean that they never did run, you know? Just fighting them...
You'll never forgive them.
They're kind of clunky to get around. I mean, I've learned their patterns and everything, but they're still kind of like a little frustrating to fight just because even though I know how to deal with them, it's still just, I don't know, it's just annoying to do. Oops.
It's just not enjoyable.
Nah. And also, I've fought them so many friggin' times compared to the Zetas. I want more Zetas.
Well, there's 7 Metroids left to fight. At least 2 of them ought to be Zetas. I say 2 because 1 more out of the 7 left is kind of like BS, you know? I'm guessing the very final Metroid... Well, I think AM2R did the same thing, like where the final Metroid was the baby, and the second to last one was the mother.
Oops.
So I'm guessing there's at least 2 more Zetas. Because more alphas and stuff like that would just be plain old annoying. It's like, we've already fought these so many times, like, you're really thinking you're gonna give me a challenge when I'm this powerful,
yeah.
Right?
Like, at this point, it's just putting up with it rather than having to honestly fight them.
Well, we know up there's an Aeon gauge.
I am so powerful.
Yeah. Or an Aeon tank, I should say, because the gauge is your meter. It increased all by a millimeter. Well done.
It's not much, but it'll do.
Okay, we're back here, to this save point.
I wonder if I had known that that was there ahead of time, would I have been able to just like jump really far ahead into this level?
No, because you needed a screw attack to get below, remember? The screw attack is beneath the, you have to grapple beneath the block first, and then screw attack through.
Yeah, you're right. Or I could just pop out here. Okay, so we've covered this entire area, so now it's time to go back.
Wait, go up here on the left. There's still a room on the right for you to uncover there.
I see it. The progression of strength in this game is one of the more, I want to say, tilted in all of Metroid series. Whereas, like,
maybe lopsided?
Not lopsided. It's more that when I first started the game, like, I was getting shit kicked by all the bad guys. Oh, right, this.
Alright, we can't go through there. Okay, so I have to put a pin on that.
Yeah, sure. What color should we want? Green?
Green for the Metroid. Yeah, green for the baby. The baby!
Oh, I couldn't come here because the door is one way.
That makes sense, too. So there's a lot of gates for you to get there. Anyway, you were saying?
The progression in this game is a little more... What was the word that I used? It wasn't lopsided.
You said tilted. But I think skewed works, too.
It was a lot more skewed or tilted in... Not necessarily the player's favor, because at the beginning of this game, like I said, I was getting shit kicked all over the place by even the smallest of enemies, and I had to rely on a rather broken mechanic, which is this. I had to learn how to get around enemies. I had to either avoid fighting them altogether, or I had to learn their patterns so that I could whack them with my gun, which is not something that Metroid has ever done. And now, at this point, I am so powerful that I can just opt to avoid using it entirely and go back to the old Metroid mainstay of just pointing my gun at them and pressing the Y button a couple times.
But that's... I mean, you could argue then that that's just Samus adapting to the... I mean, obviously they felt like we have to make a reasoning to join the game or to buy the game, and they said new mechanic, counter. And then after a while they were like, well, yeah, the counter can only do so much though, unless the very final boss or the Metroid boss has attacks that you have to use the counter to see. And those guys are electric, so you can counter them.
Yep.
You know, it's like, what's the point of including the counter if you're gonna be like, oh yeah, this enemy's immune to counter? And it's like, all right, well, not that I needed the immunity to counter when I could just gun them down at will. And Screw Attack apparently blocks that too. So, I mean, I'm guessing they just said we need a new mechanic for the early game to let people know, hey, there's a new thing. I mean, including the Aeon abilities, which are also unnecessary, with the acceptive progression and 100% the game. Which I guess is all right, because I mean, I guess you don't want to funnel the player into always using the one ability when they have to, but at the same time, it goes against the other philosophy that I said, which was the right tool for the job. And the fact that, for example, we don't have enemies that only die to beam burst, or only die to counter, or only die to... You have to phase them to make their weak spot actually visible. You know, nothing like that. It's kind of like, why? Because when you said earlier, I had to dodge enemies and to pick my fights. I mean, yeah, that's not really Metroid in the old way that we understand, because Samus can just fight everyone at all times, because they designed it so that you never have to face an enemy that you can't fight. But it would be neat to have an enemy kind of like, oh, I shouldn't be fighting that guy just yet because he's too strong. I should just avoid them when I see them. And, you know, that kind of makes a new approach to Metroid. But at the same time, it's like they're trying to have both methods, and it's not really working both ways, you know?
Would you say that any part of the mechanics in Metroid Samus Returns have been wasted? A wasted potential?
Well, in the wasted not potential, I mean, I think maybe... Phase Drift so far has only been used for, what, 3 puzzles?
Yeah.
And they've always been the same one.
And it hasn't been used... It hasn't been used in combat at all so far.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. I think that the game should try to marry... How are you going to get that missile up there? Oh, just aim? Maybe?
Probably, yeah, probably like this.
There you go.
Oh, I might need the phase shift for this, though.
Nope, you made it. But the point is, like we were saying, like, there hasn't been any particular need for any of these abilities yet. Like, no boss that we fought that says clearly use the lightning armor here or use the beam burst on this guy now. Maybe we'll fight Billy again, the bulldozer, or the mine kind Mind Drifter or whatever, and he'll be like, "Oh, you have to use the right tool for the right job," or, "Oh, hey, Zeta, it's a fire
he's
one."
different.
He's fire. So and he's faster too, I guess. Whoa, he is faster. So there you go. You were asking for Metroids that were different. There you go.
A new Zeta, and he's different, and he's differently colored. And another byproduct of him being red is I don't know how damaged he is.
Well, he's slightly redder now. Okay, the bouncy fireball. You can pull him down. There you go. Rip him. Oh.
Damn it.
There you go. Oh, he's facing
the wrong way.
Ah.
Damn it.
Oh well. Oh, I noticed you can go to the right there and avoid him if you want.
Probably not.
Oh, I guess you're right. It's just a wall. It has no moss though, so I got confused.
Yeah, I'm not really focusing on the map right now. Nope. Give me.
Don't get under him. Don't get. Oh.
Ah.
Yeah. So his attacks are faster. That's more like, okay, now it would make sense to give the player some power-ups to make them fight this guy. He's gonna drop on you, but okay. At least he's facing.
Whatever. Like I said, the first time this happened, when he falls on me, he drops a shitload of goodies. Probably to compensate. That's gonna. Probably to compensate for the fact.
I think it's to compensate for the fact that if you get landed on, you don't die immediately. But I think it's to reward you for not being there and be like, oh, the fight was going well, but you actually dropped him without him being on top of you.
Well, either way,
finishing move kill.
Either way, it's giving me goodies, and I'm not being punished too badly for letting him fall on me. And that's all 7.
Great. New area unlocked.
And there are only 6 Metroids remaining. Alright, so this is not a thing.
Yeah, I was lying. Or not lying, but I was wrong.
Anyway, we were talking about the progression of Metroid power-ups.
Wasted potential?
Yeah, wasted potential in this game. On the one hand, like, you were saying that some enemies, like, they introduced the Aeon abilities, and we haven't really had a huge necessity for them outside of puzzles. But I'm not certain if that's a totally fair criticism, because I have not been using them for bosses or enemies. And sure, I could whip out the beam burst on these bat guys or on this slug thing, but that's kind of overkill. And even way back when I first got the Aeon abilities and I wasn't like as super turbo strong as I am now. And the lightning armor, that's pretty much just an extra energy tank, honestly. Scan pulse is useless for fights.
Well, I did say a couple of times, like, hey, I used the lightning armor against the Metroids because they've been damaging me so much. But then when you learned their pattern, it was not a crutch you needed to use anymore. Which I guess makes sense if they're like, oh, the players, when they first fight these guys, they're going to be like, oh my god, this thing is so damaging. Wait a minute, I can use my lightning armor. And then later, when I get good enough at the game that I don't have to use it, I can feel good about saving my Aeon. But then again, that's the other problem. Aeon is never in short supply anyway, so you don't need to feel like you have to play it smart by not using your abilities because it's so easy to recover them.
It's a very difficult balance. They couldn't just, like, they could just do nothing, I suppose, and not introduce any new abilities into Metroid, but that's super lame, and that would be even more wasted potential.
Well, that would be just like, oh, yes, yet another Metroid, yet another one that doesn't innovate.
It's, yeah,
or
it's
doesn't,
just,
you know, it's like.
Would it be fair to say that none of the new Metroids innovate?
Okay, the last bit of innovation I've seen from Metroid, honestly, was either Fusion, that had the Zero suit, and that was a little bit different.
That was Zero Mission.
And Zero Mission?
Yeah, that's why it's called the Zero suit.
Oh, okay, my mistake. I meant the X and Metroid Fusion.
Yeah, okay, there you go.
Well, I guess Zero Mission also had that one bit. Those are 2 innovations for each of the games. And then, honestly, the other big innovation that Metroid did was like, this is a new Metroid. This is like a new way to look at it and experience it, was the Primes. Because then it would be like, you can actually see it from a first-person view, and the way you fight enemies changed, and that's like a, you know, like when you compare Mega Man to Mega Man X, like in the Sequelitis or whatever. That's the kind of change that we saw in Metroid Prime. You know, a brand new fucking experience. But yet in the 2D Metroids, nothing really much has changed, like significantly changed. You know what I mean? Like, this could have been an opportunity to make Aeon like a centerpiece of the gameplay, instead of just an attachment that's optional.
But then again, if they go too far in the other direction, then they would be... two counter arguments here is that the first would be they're not being loyal enough, I guess, to the Metroid roots. And second, if they go with something as extreme as making Aeon the primary focus of the game, then why are they remaking Metroid 2? Why wouldn't they just call it Metroid 5?
I'm guessing because everyone loves Metroid 2, like you said.
Assuming Other M is not considered Metroid 5. No, it wouldn't be. Not in the timeline.
But here's my counter argument to that. Metroid Fusion had you basically have to avoid fighting enemies, like almost like a survival horror style Metroid, and that people love that. It was not really the Metroid formula as we know it until Samus got all her stuff back and could fight the X on her own terms with the Ice Beam. Metroid Prime was not Metroid as we knew it, because think about the original reactions people heard. Hey, Metroid in first person. A first person shooter Metroid? No! What are they doing to Metroid? And then it was like the coolest Metroid.
Ah, fuck.
So
I'll go back.
You know, I don't think that... I think that maybe Nintendo was afraid to innovate on this one, because they over-innovated with Other M.
They figured out.
They
figured out what happens when they try too hard.
They tried too much to give creative control back to Sakamoto. But that's my argument. Like, just going back, like, you know, I guess props for trying to make a narrative-oriented Other M, or Metroid. Not that it worked, because, you know, it just wasn't done well. I assumed that a narrative-oriented Metroid Prime or Metroid could actually work in the right hands, or done right. It just wasn't done right, and now I'm pretty sure that nobody's ever going to try again because Other M was such crap. And Federation Force wasn't much better either.
Does this still hurt me?
Oh, you have to drain the swamp first. You have to drain... Does it hurt you?
Yeah, it does.
You took like 1 HP
no,
damage?
I took 50. Yeah.
You did? From that single touch? My god.